What's going on, guys? Today I'm back with another H.A.T format replay review for you guys. If you're interested in sending in your H.A.T format replays, you can go down to the video description and find all the information on how to go about sending those in. Anyways, the match I have for you today, we have Tia Dubaitema, sorry if I mispronounced your name, who is going to be on Evilswarm versus H.A.T, who is going to be on Mythic Ruler. Hopefully this will be a good match, as I know a lot of people really enjoy both of these decks. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Here it looks like H.A.T is going to win the rock, paper, scissors and get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Heliotrope, Fiendish Chain, DD Crow, Upstart Goblin, and Thunderbird. And on the other side, we see Blue Eyes Max C, Dragon Shrine, Whitestone Legend, and Soul Charge. So definitely opening Dragon Shrine and Soul Charge is very, very strong. And even for that matter, a Whitestone Legend as a level 1 tuner, as well as they do get a draw for turn here. Getting a copy of Foolish Burial is a perfect draw, honestly. And here we are going to see Dragon Shrine activate, sending a copy of Flameveil Guard and Title. After that, we are going to see Foolish Burial activate, sending a copy of Redox. Next, we do see that copy of Soul Charge activated, and it looks like, a little misclick there, they are going to go after, I believe, all three. Yep, it does say all three. And it looks like Tia is going to chain that copy of DD Crow here, going after the copy of Title. So the other two will be summoned, and then Title can trigger if they have targets, which they do, obviously, being that Mythic Water Dragon. Next, it looks like H.A.T is going to synchro into a copy of Scrap Dragon, being a level 8 Earth, so then they can special summon this copy of Mythic Water Dragon and overlay into a turn 1 Felgran, which is not bad at all. Next, over to Tia, they get a copy of Bottomless Trap Hole, and real quick, just keep in mind, I did actually stumble into this match, but I wasn't really watching it. I have two monitors, and so I was playing Modern in the other Modern monitor while this match was going on. I just kind of jump around looking for replays and stuff like that. So even though it shows me here, don't pay attention to it. I actually don't really know what happens in this match. So anyways, moving ahead here, we do see Upstart Goblin activated, and Tia is going to get a copy of Rescue Rabbit, which would be pretty good here, given that, nothing happens with this copy of Felgran, but we do see Felgran. Nothing actually. They're not going to use it, which sort of makes sense here. And instead, we are going to see H.A.T drop this copy of Max C. If I'm not mistaken, Rescue Rabbit isn't a on normal summon effect. So I'm pretty sure they could have technically used Felgran if they wanted to. This says cannot be special summoned from the deck. You can special summon this card, you can banish this card. You control special summon 2 level 4 or lower normal monsters with the same name from your deck, but destroy them during the end phase. You can only use the effect once per turn. Yeah, so this is not a on summon effect. So technically, I guess H.A.T could have used this copy of Felgran, but I guess they, in theory, do get more advantage out of dropping the Max C because nothing's really threatening the Felgran at the moment from the copy of Rabbit going off. And if they were to say go into something like a Ophion or go into something like a 101, they can just use that point to use the Felgran to negate whatever they would summon, and then they don't really have to deal with it. Plus, they got minimally 2 draws out of that play, so very nicely done there. And here we are going to see 2 more Heliotropes summoned, or did they just go for, oh, they went for both. For some reason, I was thinking that they had only gone for 1 there. So yeah, when those are summoned, it looks like H.A.T is going to draw into a copy of Whitestone of Legend, and after that, overlaying into Ophion, H.A.T will get another copy of Dragon Shrine, and after that, Ophion is going to be activated, and it looks like Tia is just going to scoop it up there. They really couldn't do anything in that position, I guess, which is kind of, there was definitely more play to be done, honestly. At least it felt that way. So this time, moving on into game number 2, Tia is going to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Rhoda, Heliotrope, Debunk, Allure, Darkness, and Kirkion, a very strong hand. And on the other side, we see Soul Charge, Card Trooper, Flameveil Guard, Foolish Burial, and Phoenix Wing Windblast. So also a solid hand. Here, it looks like Tia is going to draw for turn, getting a copy of Infestation Pandemic. They are going to start their turn by using Rhoda to get a cast. After that, they are going to go Allure, drawing into a Fiendish Chain and Bottomless, so lots of traps here. And after that, getting rid of that copy of Kirkion. From here, it looks like Caster is going to be summoned, and then the additional summon of Heliotrope going into a copy of Ophion, using the effect and grabbing a copy of Pandemic. Are we going to see a set 5 here? And just set 4, so holding on to 1 copy of Pandemic, which definitely makes sense in case you were to get hit with somehow an Exciton. Some of the Mythic Ruler decks do play like a random copy of Exciton. It's kind of hard to pull off, but technically with Debris Dragon and Mythic Tree Dragon, you can make it, I believe. There might be 1 or 2 other ways to make it, but usually that's like the only thing. But either way, just holding it isn't bad at all here. Jihad Me is going to draw into a copy of Blaster, which they can actually use the effect discarding the Flameveil Guard to try to go after that copy of Ophion. And it looks like, it looked like for a second they were going to let it go, but instead the debunk is actually going to be activated. Oh, here it says they were reading it, so that definitely makes sense here. And after that, the Card Trooper is going to summon using the effect, sending a Blue Eyes, Torrential, and Cards of Consonance before setting a Wing Blast and passing turn. Here Tia draws into a copy of Heliotrope, which they're going to normal summon and just run over that Card Trooper, which will trigger drawing Jihad Me into a copy of Breakthrough Skill. After that, we see the Ophion attacking in and just passing turn, choosing not to use this effect because the kind of floodgate effect of Ophion that says, while this card has Xyz material, 5 or higher monsters cannot be special summoned. Obviously it needs a material, so just keeping that. Here we see Jihad Me drew into a copy of Firehand, which is a very commonly sided card, the hands in the Mythic Ruler deck. It's really good into a lot of the grindier decks, as well as the perfect answer for a deck like Evilswarm. And again, even in this situation, that's another example where having extra level 4s moving into, a game 2 could come up in an Exciton type play, though a lot of times the hands can actually just sort of solo the Evilswarm deck in a lot of cases. It'll be interesting to see if they play it aggressive and normal summon it and start attacking in, or if they play it slow and set it with the breakthrough skill and just kind of go from there. So here, it looks like they are going to play it slow, setting the Firehand and setting the breakthrough skill over to Tia, who gets a copy of Mandragora, which they are going to normal summon and then go into a copy of Dweller. Here they are going to use the effect, but that is going to be met with the breakthrough skill, and here Tia is just going to pass. So maybe they were expecting the hands in this matchup, but it looks like in the end phase, Jihad Me is going to discard that copy of Foolish and try to stack back the copy of Dweller, which they are going to actually go and do. So that means that, maybe Jihad Me had a reason to think they were going to be able to out this Ophion right away. And now that I think about it, we do see the breakthrough skill in Graveyard now, so they could try to turn that off there in that case as well, though we do know the Pandemic is in the back row here. Here, Jihad Me is going to draw into a copy of Trade-In, flip up the Firehand, but that is going to be met with Bottomless, so it won't be able to trigger, and here we will see the breakthrough skill activated on the Ophion, which is going to force out that copy of Pandemic, and from there, it looks like Jihad Me is just going to scoop it up. They definitely did not have the answers they needed at the time, so moving on into a game number 3, we will see Jihad Me start this one out. Opening hands, we see Thunderbird Macro, Thunderbird Mandragora, and Infestation Pandemic. And on the other side, we see a copy of Redox MST, Card Trooper, Whitestone, and Blue Eyes. And they will draw for turn, getting a copy of Cards of Consonance, so a very strong hand. Here, activating Cards of Consonance, getting rid of the Whitestone, drawing into MST and Soul Charge. Then here, the Whitestone will trigger to grab a copy of Blue Eyes. After that, we are going to see the Card Trooper activated, and it looks like milling 3, going for Flameveil Guard, Blue Eyes, and Soul Charge. I guess at that point, they kind of also had another interesting play they could have done, even if they wanted to use the Redox and discard the copy of Card Trooper to bring back, say, the copy of Whitestone, and then from there it would make a bigger Soul Charge play. But I guess if they want to hold the Soul Charge, that's also pretty good, but we will just have to see how they choose to play out this turn. And here they are going to go for a Soul Charge play, so going and bringing back the Flameveil Guard and Blue Eyes, and after that going for a Synchro Summon of Azure Eyes before setting one of those copies of MST over to Tia, who gets a MST of their own. Here we are going to see Mandragora's special summon, then Thunderbird summoned, and going straight into a copy of Ophion, using the effect and grabbing a copy of Pandemic. After that, it looks like Tia is going to set 3 and go to end phase. So not even going to give the little bit of advantage off of the card trooper here. And in end phase, Jihad Like is going to activate MST and hit that copy of Macro Cosmos, which would have, in a lot of cases, just been completely devastating here. And so from here, Jihad Like is going to draw for turn, getting a copy of Mythic Water Dragon, switching the card trooper to defense, using the effect and milling 3, hitting a trade-in, and Tempest. After that, we are going to see that other copy of MST gone and set here. And back over to Tia, who gets another Mandragora. Here they're going to normal summon Thunderbird, and this time going and attacking over that card trooper. And here Jihad Like will draw into a copy of Skill Drain, which we haven't actually seen yet. Very, very good card here in the Mythic Ruler deck. And after that, are they trying to use the Thunderbird in the damage step here? Regardless, I think it's going to be a little irrelevant in that situation. When does this even come back? During the next standby phase, return this banish card by this effect. So this should honestly, unless I'm missing something, it wasn't banished from anything else, so this should be still on field because it says during the next standby phase. It doesn't say during your next standby phase regardless. But anyways, moving ahead here, we did see the skill drain set, and after that, and the fire hand here, the Thunderbird is going to return here. And so yeah, I guess they did use it there, but okay, anyways, let's just move past it. Again, it didn't really affect too much here, and even if this was at 1650, it would still clear the fire hand here, so let's just completely move past that. Anyways, going and running over that fire hand, which is going to pop this copy of Ophion and summon a copy of Ice Hand. After that, main phase 2, the Mandragora is special summoned, overlaying into yet another copy of Ophion using the effect, but that is going to be met with the skill drain, which is going to be met with the MST. So having the perfect answer there, here it looks like Tia is going to get a copy of Pandemic, and they had drawn a copy of Dimensional Prison for turn as well. So having that out to the Ice Hand is very strong, and here we see Jihad Like draw for turn, getting a copy of Dragon Shrine, and here we are going to see it activated, sending a Flamevelt Guard and a copy of Blaster, and after that switching the Ice Hand to attack, attempting to get into this Ophion, but that is going to be met with Dimensional Prison, and after that, right back to Tia, who is going to draw a copy of Bottomless and set it before passing over to Jihad Like, who also draws another copy of Skill Drain. Here, back over to Tia, who gets another copy of MST, so already having the out. Here we are going to see them set it, but MST is going to be chained to that, hitting the MST, so now this Skill Drain might be live. Here we see Jihad Like drawing into a copy of Breakthrough Skill, activating the copy of Skill Drain, but we do see Tia activate the copy of Pandemic, so it's going to make so that this Ophion is unaffected by spell and trap effects this turn. After that, we see the Breakthrough Skill set over to Tia, who gets a copy of Dimensional Fissure, so here come the Floodgates, activating it and setting a copy of Pandemic. Here we are going to see the Ophion activated, and Jihad Like is thinking here, what are they doing exactly? Yeah, they shouldn't be searching there because of the copy of Skill Drain that's on board here. Maybe they were thinking if they activate this, then it would become unaffected, or maybe because they technically were unaffected the last term they had Pandemic, but here they also do have 2, so I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Here it looks like Jihad Like drew into a copy of Whitestone, and we are going to see Blaster activated, going and summoning a copy, summoning the copy of Blaster, which is going to be met with the Bottomless here, and then we will see the Pandemic activated after that, so it was unaffected, so they couldn't keep extending. They probably should have done that a little bit prior, but maybe they were just trying to make Jihad Like lose some resources and lose out on that copy of Blaster. Here we see Tia draw into a copy of Soul Drain, so again, just another great floodgate against the Mythic Ruler deck, and here they're going to set it before passing it over to Jihad Like, and it looks like in draw phase, the Soul Drain is going to be able to be activated. That says activate by paying 1,000 life points. Monsters that are banished as well as monsters in the graveyard cannot activate their effects. So right now, basically, monster effects on field, grave, and banish cannot be activated, and any monster that would be sent to grave is going to get banished here, and yes, so kind of a weird board state to be in. But here Jihad Mythic draws into a copy of Trap Stun, which is actually going to be very clutch here, honestly, if they turn off this copy of Skill Drain once they out the copy of Ophion. But right now, the Azure Eyes is kind of blocking really well, given it does have 3,000 defense. Here, Tia draws into a copy of Fiendish Chain, which they can set back over to Jihad Mythic, who gets a copy of Firehand, back over to Tia, who gets a Infestation Infection, back over to Jihad Mythic, who gets a copy of Soul Charge, which they are going to activate, going for Tempest and Guard. And here we see that Tia is allowing this. We are going to see the Synchro Summon of a Scrap Dragon, and, you know, these are getting banished. They aren't triggering either, so very strong. And here we are going to see Scrap Dragon attempting to activate, going after their Trap Stun and the Dimensional Fissure. And here we see the Chain Trap Stun here. And Fiendish Chain being activated on the Scrap Dragon isn't going to work out the way they think, because this is going to, you know, activate, stopping this, but then the Trap Stun will still resolve, so this will be negated. So yeah, this is still going to trigger here. A little bit of a misplay from them here, and we do see now the Dimensional Fissure leave. And, you know, obviously at that point, the Skill Drain was negated, so yeah, this is all working out, but it is an interesting board state to get in. Some of these boards do get a little confusing when there's so many different floodgates applying, because you have to think, you know, if the Skill Drain's negated, the Ophion's back online, and then the Trap Stun's negating the Fiendish Chain, which is allowing the Scrap Dragon to activate. The Soul Drain is negated, so technically they have the chance to activate some of these effects and stuff, but they aren't able to because, again, the Ophion. So just a weird place to be in, but here setting that copy of Compulse back over to Jihad Mythic, who draws into a copy of Tidal. And now that I see this, they are actually getting very low in cards here. Only 11 left in deck, setting that copy of Whitestone back over to Tia, who gets a copy of Kirkion, which they are going to normal summon and then activate the Pandemic, so these will be able to use their effects, banishing a copy of Ophion to get back a Thunderbird. What was this back row again? It was a copy of Breakthrough Skill, which unfortunately wasn't even able to be activated under Skill Drain here. After that, we see the additional summon of a Thunderbird overlaying into a Crazy Box, so they do play the Crazy Box, which is great under Skill Drain, so it will be able to attack, and it is a 3,000 beater, which, funny enough, still can't get over the Azure Eyes, but they can attack over Scrap Dragon. And here the Fiendish Chain will go to Graveyard because it was on the Scrap Dragon. And after that, we see Jihad Mythic draw into a copy of Foolish, which they're going to get rid of a Mythic Tree Dragon. Getting really low in cards here, we do see the Redox activated, banishing a Card Trooper and Whitestone to summon itself, another 3,000 beater. Here we see Tidal activated, banishing 2 to summon itself, and after that, overlaying into a copy of Dracosack, which they're going to use and tribute itself to destroy this copy of Soul Drain. This does tribute for cost. It activates on field and resolves in Graveyard, so it does play around the Soul Drain as well. After that, setting a copy of Firehand back over to Tia, who gets a copy of Heliotrope, going to battle phase, running over the Firehand, which can now pop the Crazy Box and summon a copy of Ice Hand. After that, we are going to see the Infection activated. I think they were just kind of showing what they had in that situation, and from there, just scooping it up. So, you know, Jihad Mythic does take this with Mythic Ruler, a very bizarre game, honestly, very good game, in my opinion, just really awkward with all the floodgates and stuff. I also see the little shout out here, love the YouTube hat, really appreciate that, and I appreciate, you know, checking out this game. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it, comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to go down to the video description to find out how you can send in your hat format replays, whether you won or lost. If you thought the deck you or your opponent played was pretty cool, feel free to send that in. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see it. But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.